I've made the biggest mistake I ever possibly could have made. It's the biggest car guy mistake. You probably have done it once in your life as well. You showed a little bit of optimism. Hello and welcome to the shop. I'm Jared and this is the Questionable Garage. And Aaron, calm down. I told you it was coming. We are here. We are working on our 1970 Plymouth Sport Satellite. To me, the ultimate of vintage muscle cars. There's nothing better looking in my eyes than a 1970 B-body Mopar. And for whatever reason, it's 1 year only. All of the front sheet metal is very unique. And one, Mopars, they didn't make a lot of them. Two, they all rusted away. And three, back in the day, nobody cared about them. So they all kind of got wrecked. There's not a lot of them left, which means they all sell for a pretty big premium if you're chasing that 1 year only. And that's what I did. So flashback to quite a while ago, I bought this car as a project from my friend Taylor. I paid what seemed to be a fair price, and I kind of messed up. I didn't do due diligence. My friend Taylor, he never even had it on a lift either. I saw a lot of patchwork done by an owner before Taylor, and I thought the patchwork was good. Just went off the assumption, hey, it's good work. Well, as you can tell by the copious amounts of new AMD sheet metal, it wasn't very good. Also, I'm building my ultimate muscle car dream car. I'm not gonna accept okay. We might have a couple good enoughs here and there, but we're not gonna allow any okays in our build. We're gonna make sure it's good. So we've been doing an awful lot and the project's kind of been on hold because I'm waiting for a new tool. I didn't really need the new tool, I just really wanted it. And I'm finally about to have tracking, which means we're gonna make progress again. But in order to go any further, man, it looks so good. I'm getting so, like getting it back out, even though it's dusty. Here, it's come in the front end, even in the dust, you see just the real nice styling in the hood. She's a little sad in the front, but still, look how amazing this thing looks. But in order to do the last bit of metal work, fix the rust we found in the last episode, and put the new floor pans in, I have to take it even further apart. Something also about classic car and metal restoration, you will put something together and take it apart about 100 times. Ah, gotcha. Now he's dead. But when you're doing a classic restoration of any kind, you're gonna put it together and take it apart a whole lot because you need to fit and make sure it's all good. So all of our unique 1970 metal has got to come off. There's metal work to do there. And we've got to get the dash and the rest of the interior out so we can get to doing floorboards. And oh boy, they're a lot of fun. I'm gonna start pulling some heavy sheet metal all on my lonesome. That's gonna be fun. The hood, at least, the fender's not too bad. We can do the hood. That's the hard part. To work. Let's see if it'll spray all I'm hoping it to out. little sad looking, isn't it? You know, with its all the body work's off, but we do need to do it. As you can tell, you can see how much debris came falling out as we went ahead and, yes, that's a lot, removed the fenders. We got those doors back off. Now, one thing I did have to do, and it's part of the final body working stage, was a hammer down there. Someone in the past has used that rocker box as a lift point incorrectly and folded it over a little bit, but it is still mostly intact, so it's just going to be a little bit of body work. Also, I'm discouraged that I'm having to do this rust repair, but for our northern friends, you're laughing at me because not a single bolt broke. There's just little tiny bits of metal that we're going to have to fix in these fenders. A lot of body work to get dents out and such, but they don't exist. It's very hard to find good 70s front sheet metal, and it's not something AMD is building restoration parts for just yet. But a little bit more tear down, well, a lot more tear down to go. We need to go ahead and get our dashboard removed, and once that is all out, we cut all of the floors, basically from that line of seam sealer right there, all the way up. Because the guy that did the patchwork, I mean, that patchwork was okay. Had it been good enough, we would have left it alone. Like the trunk floor pan that he did, I call that good enough. But we're not gonna leave any okay. So that's why we're tearing into it. I really, really should have looked a lot deeper. I don't think Taylor feels like I've ever spoke ill with him. He was ready to buy the car back at any moment because he also didn't look this deeply in it. So he paid too much. I paid him basically what he paid for it, and we all paid way too much for the car. But thanks to YouTube and you guys watching, we're getting it fixed. So all through here, this is just minor scuff, sand, clean, and treat. Really not much in rust repair. It's all rocker repair on this side, and a lot of cleaning still to go out of there. Most of that flew out of here. But if you remember that, I'm sure editor Dwayne's back editing, so he included that clip. You may think, that's not too bad, leave it alone. No, we're going to cut and actually build a patch for right here. And then we need to cut and build a patch down there. That's why we're tearing it down. We're gonna make this thing as perfect and probably the least questionable vehicle in the entire fleet. We're doing it right because I want to drive this thing all the stinking time. The goal is probably realistically for this to be the daily, which means AC, nice radios, and a nice interior, and a quiet exhaust, and a repainted dashboard so it looks nice. So, well, nothing else is happening if I don't get to work, so wiper blades are coming off, and then we go to the interior and get all of that stripped out. All right, as you can tell, we've got even more of our satellite torn apart. And guys, I've made the biggest mistake I ever possibly could have made. It's the biggest car guy mistake. You probably have done it once in your life as well. You showed a little bit of optimism. Let me explain a little bit. So as that dashboard was coming out, I was really worried how our firewall was going to end up looking overall down into these panels here, our inner A-pillar structure. Really bad up in here because there's still just, the reason these rot so bad, any old truck, car, anything, these cowls just fill completely up. Now I've been blowing and cleaning this a bunch already, and as you can tell, there's still a lot more cleaning to go. Look at this. So we're making it rain. So these get filled with stuff and rot, but look how It's solid. It all looks really, really good. Little surface rust, but overall, that looks amazing. Therein lies my screw up. What do I mean? I told myself. I said it aloud. Wow, this is looking good. Maybe I've found the last of the rust. That spot. Well, dummy, keep your mouth shut. So we got a little bit more patching to do. You come in here and our inner A-pillar is not looking so hot. What's interesting is it's all pretty much just in this channel. Up in here, where all the junk gets and kind of sits, that looks perfectly fine. I got no issues there. It's just in here. It is not enough to justify literally ripping the entire car apart to put an inner A-pillar on. We're going to cut out and segment patch. This is gonna be our trickiest section. We won't quite be able to slip it on and do like the traditional spot welds. We're gonna have to join all of this into one. I'm okay with that. It's fixable. I have no clue how I even thought it was a good idea to go, huh, it doesn't look too bad. But to be fair, anyone who's worked on old cars, that does not look very bad at all. We have a really good cowl. That is a tremendous amount of work, so that is good. So what's next? Well, we are gonna go ahead and get the front section of our floor cut out. We're not gonna cut out all of it. We're doing all 3 segments, but I'm not gonna cut it all out at once. There's a reason for it. We're able to maintain a lot of structure through the floors. We're not gonna get too wiggly. Now that the roof and everything is tied back in up there, we can take the bottom of our box out. But if we go ahead and took the whole thing out, we could get some free play. The trick is, if you look, this panel sits on top of the floor extensions, which sits on top of this floor. So this one has to go in first, but that requires you to remove that, which requires you to remove that. So that would take all the structure out. So a simple little trick you'll see once we get started into it is we're going to find the overlapping seam, and thanks to the rust, we can kind of see it. So right about here, we're gonna go ahead and cut across here, leave most of the rear floor, but just take out this front section. That's gonna let us go ahead, fully install the front floor. We then will do the same little cut behind for the very back floor pan, get the trunk or the floor extensions in, then we can finally do the rear floor. So I'm gonna set up a GoPro, chug a little bit of water. As you can tell, it's still warm. 102 degree heat index, and we're rocking about 110 in the shop, even with the fans going. So Georgia summer, but I always argue, I've got good driving roads, so it's worth the heat. Sometimes, you know, as someone who's built for cold weather. But we're going to make all of our marking. I'll talk through exactly how we're gonna cut it out, because you got cross members here. Some of the tricks to get a floor pan out, and then once the floor pan's out, there's hours and hours and hours of little fine cleanup that I'm just gonna explain to you. Because you don't really need to see my back for 2 hours and sparks flying out from my crotch. So let's get to work. All right, so we're gonna hit one more round of just trying to blow a bunch of dust out, just so we don't have a potential fire on our hand. And then I'll show you some of the rough marking, and then we'll get the plasma torch going. All right, so what I like to do is kind of find and mark where you need to be careful cutting with some spray paint. And this is to set you up to start doing, you do a lot of rough cuts, so you can come back and do fine adjustments to protect the parts that need to stay put. So, now to get the quick ripper tool out that makes a lot of noise. So again, we're gonna start rough cutting, and then we slowly refine our cuts. still hot and sweaty. It is warm, but we have made a tremendous amount of progress. Even though if you look at the car, it looks like we haven't done a thing. It used to look like a car at the start of the episode, but all of that patched up, awful floor is pretty much cut out of it, ready to go with the new one. Now, we're not getting through all the little fines. I need to grind the little tabs off. We need to straighten that. And we're gonna come back through later and hand cut all of that out. The main reason you need to be really careful is that is your flange there. And it's really easy to just completely bend and warp and ruin that section of your firewall. So that's one of those things you definitely don't want to air hammer out, plasma torch, or do anything crazy like that. You got to be kind of precise and careful. Wow, I put my arms on the car and it's kind of warm. Yeah. The downside to the positioning of my building is in summer, the sun from about 11 to the end of the day is just cooking on that wall. It's not ideal, and some of the trees that we used to have ended up getting taken out for more buildings, which that's okay. It's warm. Mr. Cool, hit me back up if you want to finish. We can get those mini splits in here and make life better. But we have made big progress, and finally, the one thing I've been waiting for, I should have tracking soon. Now, this is a tool that I want to use on the Satellite, that we're going to use on the Honda Rousey, we're going to potentially be using on the Ferrari truck. Johnny over there, like we've got a whole lot that has kind of just been in limbo, waiting for this thing to turn up. So I'm really excited for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a little bit more progress on our ultimate muscle car. To me, again, still even looking like this, you still got the back end together. 70 Mopar B-body, pinnacle of muscle car. I'm getting really excited, even though it's like torn more apart. We've made a huge milestone forward, and we're gonna get to go back together here really soon. So I appreciate you guys, as always, hanging out with us. If you've made it this far and you're not, subscribe, like, comment, tell me what I did right, tell me what I did wrong, tell me what you're working on, what your dream muscle car is. And again, those of you who go way above and beyond, support a little bit on Patreon or YouTube members, I appreciate all of you. It's just, I'm cooked. I'm warm. My suspenders, I got a lumbar brace on, the back's been angry. We're making progress though, because you got two options: sit around and do nothing, or do a little bit and make whatever progress you can. I'm Jared, reminding you guys to always make questionable choices and lift with your knees, not your back. You don't want to get old like me and have back pain. We'll see ya.